Welcome to this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters, the podcast where we chart the cinematic legacy of the classic monsters. I'm John Campbell. With me, as always, Brendan Jones.
John, it is me. I know you weren't able to tell with all the bandages.
That's right, folks. We're back. The mummy's back, baby!
Okay, I know that. All right. I know that pretty much it was certainly a very popular thing in the 1920s after Howard Carter, found the grave of Tutankhamun, the tomb.
Yes.
And then the big thing became mummy curses.
Mummy curses, they're cursing you.
Yep, exactly, which is why mummies became a monster staple. That's why the Boris Karloff movie was, because that was in the zeitgeist, in the public brain. And of course, everyone immediately, they know it's made up nonsense and that those grave robbing carvings on the tomb are a bunch of hokum.
Mm-hmm.
I actually now kind of believe in the curse of the mummy.
After seeing this?
Yeah. I think the curse, however, it's working its way out in very subtle ways.
Let me ask you, I think this is true. I think we cover, a spectrum of monsters on here.
Yeah.
The Mummy has to have the worst hit ratio by far, right?
I gotta say,
because I think most of the worst movies we've watched have been Mummy movies, and also there have only been like 2 we've even liked.
Yeah. Now I will say that as they get worse,
yeah,
and this is pretty bottom of the barrel.
It's not the bottom of the barrel, but it's pretty bad. I still think this is slightly better than Tony Curtis and slightly better than the models in the desert. But they are all, we are talking micro degrees, right? Like,
agreed. But I will say, watching this, and I've said this before, it does make me kind of nostalgic for the Karas films, because those are goofy. They are ridiculous.
Yes.
They're still kind of fun.
And
they're only like 65 minutes long.
Yeah, some of them don't even clock in at a full hour. Like, this thing managed to be an hour 36 that I want back. I want it back.
An hour 36 that I want back. And guess out of that hour and 36 minutes, how many of those minutes consecutively make sense? That is literally 6 minutes out of the hour and 36
I will say,
minutes.
I had trouble following this movie.
I know. It is confusingly shot,
Yeah.
confusingly written,
Yeah.
and confusingly edited.
Yeah.
And this is a story, by the way, for those of you going like, oh, poor them, they couldn't keep up with a story that was an hour and a half movie. This is the 3rd time we've seen this particular story adapted. We should be able to follow this no problem.
I mean, this is another adaptation of Bram Stoker's Jewel of the 7 Stars.
Yep.
Which we have seen adapted 2 other times, which weren't good movies, but were both infinitely better than this shit.
Oh man, I would watch. Okay, The Awakening is a tough sit, but I would any day watch Blood of the Mummy's Tomb over this.
But here's the thing: The Awakening is boring, but at least it's like competently shot and it has good actors. It's still boring.
They actually tried to do it as quote unquote serious drama.
Apparently, by the way, I'm sad to say we apparently missed another adaptation of it from 1986. That, looking at this cover though, I think the Action Shelf might just catch up on, because it has John Carradine in it.
Oh,
1986. 1986 is The Tomb, directed by Fred Olen Ray. Do you know Fred Olen Ray?
I do.
Yeah.
Wow, that can't be good.
No, but it's John and Sybil Danning, so it tells you right away it's real.
Well, that tells me what Fred Olen Ray will be pointing his camera at.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That is. So I think that might find its way into a Spooktober over on Action Shelf. So
I like the way this is referred to as. I always find it funny when they put like the author name. Mm-hmm. So this is actually called Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy.
And
Bram Stoker never wrote anything called Legend of the Mummy.
No,
so that's misleading.
But check out that poster, because that font looks like a different Bram Stoker movie we've already talked about.
What? Yeah, it does. That is a full rip of the Dracula font.
borderline should be legally actionable. Like, really?
Yeah,
like, my God.
absolutely.
And holy shit, is this mummy design awful. I mean, look at this. This is somebody did this in 10 minutes in Photoshop, right?
Yeah, but it looks better than what ends up on the movie.
Sadly, that's the case. This is actually a better, and right off the bat, it is also declaring Lou Gossett Jr., who is slumming it.
He's slumming it, but
he couldn't be slumming it more.
Another thing I think that the Curse of the Mummy may, in fact, be tied to.
Yeah.
Accents.
Oh,
I
God,
think.
yeah.
I think.
Oh God. What is he doing?
I love
doing?
Louis Gossett Jr.
He's a legit. That's the thing that I just kept reminding myself and going, no. You know he's a legitimately great actor.
Yes,
he is. And he's given some amazing performances.
One thing I do like about him, though, as a legitimately great actor, he's one of those, similar perhaps to a Gary Oldman, who, given any space or room, he shoots for the fucking fences. In other words, he's big. He's cartoony.
Oh, good Lord.
He's melodramatic. And that can be great.
Actually, if everybody had that energy in this movie would have been a lot more fun.
If it was more camp. Yeah. Maybe so. Because it's certainly shot almost. This thing is.
Almost everyone in this movie is so boring. They're just so dull.
And it's like 90% TV actors. Yeah. Not that that's an insult, but they are.
But also like TV actors that you are like. I mean, fucking Al Borland's in this movie, man.
Well, what's funny to me is that Eric Lutz, who is the lead, and Richard Kern, who is Al Borland, and of course Amy Locane. Amy Locane is on the tail of her fame, but weirdly the other two guys are about to get the big parts that enshrine them forever.
Well, no, Home Improvement's going at this point in '98.
Oh, really? I thought this is no, you're right. No,
okay. Home Improvement started in what, 91? In fact, it ends the year after.
Who's terrible here.
Everybody's pretty
really
bad.
It was like a year away from being the romantic lead on Caroline in the City, which
actually he's already been doing that for 3 years at this point.
What?
Yep.
Did I get that wrong too?
95 to 99. So once again, that will also end the following year.
Well, then maybe just being in the atmosphere of the talent in Caroline in the City maybe levitated
You know what's
him?
Interesting? He was also
because I liked him on that show. And he's terrible in this movie.
He's terrible in this movie, and I just saw him. Well, not just because it was a while ago, but he does a little guest arc on Frasier where he's pretty good too.
All right.
Yeah.
Maybe he just didn't care here.
Well, how could you? I mean, who's going to read the script? He does go on. Oh, Brennan, he does go on to be the Olsen twins' father on the sitcom So Little Time.
I don't even know what that.
Who could? I vaguely remember. It was a cheap cable sitcom that they did. They had a couple. They had their straight to video success, but they tried a couple sitcoms again after Full House and.
Well, I remember that they, as far as I knew, most of their money came from their direct to VHS movies they did.
That was it. But they had a couple of failed attempts to come back to 3-camera sitcoms that didn't go. One of them was So Little Time. The other one was called Two of a Kind, of course, right?
Jesus Christ!
And both lasted one season. They
are multimillionaires,
and their sister is more talented because their sister's amazing.
Crazy more.
Yeah. And also, I think as I might have talked about last week, Mary Jo Catlett, who was the housekeeper on Different Strokes in this too. I mean, that's the thing. It's when you say they're TV people, it's not just TV quality people. They're literally recognizable from TV parts.
Yeah.
It's and so it adds to just this baffling thing where almost everybody who shows up in the movie, I'm like, oh man, this is so weird that. Because I'm going, I don't think I've seen Richard Karn in almost anything other than Home Improvement or when he hosted Family Feud. I don't think of all the great Richard Karn parts. He worked. He's worked, but when I see him in this, I'm like, when's he gonna put on the tool belt and the plaid shirt? It's it's distracting actually. Oh, right, he was on Pen 15. He's actually very good on there. I take it back. He did find it. He's one of the fathers on the show Pen 15, which if people have not seen, they should.
With one exception,
and actually, I think he's pretty okay in this. He's just
for what he's called.
He's just here to be. I'm the wacky sidekick guy.
I will say that with one exception, this cast is full of decently talented people.
You gonna bring up Amy?
Very talented.
Amy
Locane is just a piece of wood.
She is terrible. She was terrible on Melrose Place. She's terrible here. The woman can't act. I'm sorry. She can't act. She was so bad that they wrote her out of Melrose Place after 13 episodes. She was too bad of an actor for Melrose Place. And I say this as somebody who, you talk about something that's totally dumb but I love, and that's Melrose Place.
Yeah.
I do enjoy
I watched it. It's just like I watched Beverly Hills 90210. I watched them both.
Both of those. I don't like the term guilty pleasure because I think you should just enjoy something. But like that was totally like, I know these are stupid, but oh man, they're fun. They are fun. It's one of the things where it's like, I can't tell if they're trying to be campy or there definitely had to be. They're just so soapy and stupidly juicy. And I've been the pandemic started a rewatch of both of them for me, and they are they're just dumb, but they're so fun, and you can watch them going ooh, like every time anything happens, you're like, oh, he didn't just say that to her.
Look, I won't tell anybody,
but I'm fine with it. But Amy Locane, like I said. Even by Melrose Place days, when I started the rewatch, I was going, Jesus, she's bad. And I'm like, oh, they get rid of her before the end of the first season? Yeah, and all she can't fucking act.
You apparently can and do just get jobs based off your looks.
Up to a point,
I can't see anything else here.
No, exactly. And it's up to a point. I feel like your looks can get you a chunk of a career, and you look at her acting, it starts to slow. There's a lot early on, and then it starts to slow.
Her one high point, as I remember, was that one drama that she did with, was it Dennis Hopper and,
oh wait, is it okay? I'm looking at something else. It's not Lost Angels, is it?
No, it was
No Secrets.
Help me with the name of this actress. Spielberg's first wife.
Oh, Amy Irving.
Carrie.
Amy Irving.
Yeah, Amy Irving.
Wait a minute. It's not. Wait a minute.
It was a drama with.
How the hell? I'm looking at her career, and she's in some like decent movies, but I think in like small roles.
Oh yeah, she's not the lead.
Well, because I'm going like she's in School Ties. School Ties is great.
Yeah,
but she's deep in that cast list. And then like what's she in with Tommy Lee Jones? Blue Sky. You remember that one? I mean, it's not like a great movie, but it's a real movie with real actors in it.
Yes,
Jessica Lange and Tommy Lee Jones. I don't see. I'm having trouble finding what you're talking about. It was
Carried Away.
Oh, I see. 96. I was
actually.
Earlier.
So that was before this.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper, Amy Irving. What do you do? Oh, and then you got Gary Busey, Hal Holbrook. She should not be in a movie where these people are in it.
She's basically the young temptress that comes between a married couple, long married couple.
That adds up because that's kind of all she's good for is being the sexy lady because she has nothing else to offer.
I don't find her sexy.
No, I didn't find her attractive on Melrose Place either. She's pretty boring looking, I think, really. I mean, she's like objectively, I understand what the features she has that people would find attractive.
She's standard California blonde.
That's it. It's sort of that thing where it's like, and like you can see a million people on TV who look like this.
I need to say this for our audience.
Yeah,
we are aware of the people who are saying this. We are aware of what we look like.
Yeah, but we're not being put out. You know, I always go back. We talk about this on the Action Shop because we'll talk about an action star's weight. But Lisman and I are always going, look, we're no one to talk, but we're also not going out there putting on tactical gear and machine guns and trying to convince you we can kick ass. Yeah, that's kind of always the thing. It's like, I'm sorry, but yeah, I just don't get it for being this. And I obviously that was she's in. Oh shit! Right, she's in Crybaby.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that movie.
Yeah, so I guess what is she, blonde number 2, because that's also Tracy Lords.
No, she's the main character in Crybaby.
Is she?
Yeah, she's the good girl who's in love with the bad boy, Johnny Depp.
I guess
But
so.
The thing about it though.
Tracy Lords plays like the tough chick.
Right. Yeah, she's part of the Crybaby gang.
Yeah.
The thing about it though is that movie is so stylized and it's doing the 50s teenage thing that her being kind of bland works to a certain extent in that, you know what I mean? Like it's sort of thing where it's John Waters, so there's a trash aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. She's a bad actress and she doesn't really act anymore, so although, come on, man, in 2005, she's in something called Alien Express with Lou Diamond Phillips. So that
sounds amazing.
That's an action shelf movie if I've ever seen one.
I cannot wait.
So, anyway, she's horrible in this movie. And literally every scene she's in, I was going, ugh. But then, yes, similarly, I thought Eric Lutz was terrible, who I agree I have seen be good in several things.
I know.
And
there were parts of this movie that I kept going, do they know the camera is on?
And, oh my God, Lloyd Bachner, who basically just lays down the whole movie.
I know!
I mean, he's not bad in this because he's basically asleep the whole film.
For me, the only joy in this movie came when Louis Gossett Jr. finally shows up and spends the entire movie deciding on an accent.
Well, because when he first showed up, I go, oh, he's playing this British? That's weird. But then as the movie goes on, I'm like, holy shit, each scene is a totally new thing.
Totally different thing. But Aubrey Morris shows up, and Aubrey Morris was in Blood of from the Mummy's Tomb.
He sure was.
So, playing a character by the same name. So even though this writer-director and this movie is all one dude's fault.
Jeffrey Obrow. Or Obrow?
That was a good choice. I was very happy to see this guy because he was a lot of fun in a different movie that is years ago now.
Once again, this is something you and I have talked about, and Lisman and I have talked about over the Action Shelf. This guy directed 9 films. How does this not just stop? Like, you make this, you should never be allowed to direct again.
Absolutely.
No. He goes on to do, after this, something called, oh boy, here's another Action Shelf movie. They Are Among Us with Allison Eastwood.
Okay.
She's the name in that. Clint Eastwood's daughter.
I mean, I always thought she was cute, but I never saw anything in the movies that she did that really warranted her having a career. No, she's not embarrassingly bad.
She's not an Amy Locane, but
she's no Amy Locane.
To be fair, though, I don't know if I've ever seen her in anything that her dad didn't direct, though.
Yeah.
Like, she's in Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, and she's not bad in that, but I do remember thinking, like, you wouldn't have gotten this part otherwise.
Yeah.
This probably should have been somebody better. And then, I know The Kindred. He did that before this with Rod Steiger.
John,
huh?
You are actively avoiding talking about this movie.
I just want to talk about.
We have to start it.
I can't talk about The Kindred.
Go down an IMDb rabbit hole.
But what if that movie that he also directed is called The Dorm That Dripped Blood? I'm just saying.
He did The Dorm That Dripped Blood.
That was his first film, 1982's The Dorm That Dripped Blood.
That's a piece of shit, but I have seen it.
But that one is kind of, in my memory, like sort of fun trashy. Like,
again. Sure. What, this one isn't fun trashy? There's at least 2 weirdly gratuitous sex scenes, and I can't even tell what characters are having the sex why we're seeing it.
That's key. This is just trashy. It's not fun. It's just trashy. Also, I have never wanted to see Al Borland having sex with a woman with giant fake breasts, but by God, here's the movie.
We didn't.
No, I guess we come in.
We see her get up, and then she's naked. He's like, get back in bed, sexy lady.
The phone rings, and there's like some writhing around under sheets, maybe.
Boy, we need to move on. All right, get it started. Launch this puppy.
Egypt, 1947 is where we start.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. And we got some people in a tomb. There's a little kid who is definitely is Louis Gossett Jr. By the way, Louis Gossett Jr. is like, yeah, how late into this movie can I show up? Because it's a good 40 minutes before we get to a name above title actor.
Yeah, this is a young version of his character in a tomb.
Corbeck is his name.
Corbeck, which is the same name. I mean, he took parts from the original story. Every movie that we've seen,
this one I would say
he's playing the same character that Charlton Heston played in The Awakening, and that was it Cushing in Blood from the Mummy's Tomb?
I don't think he was in that one.
No, I don't think it was Cushing. Who was it?
Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.
Who played Corbeck in that one?
I have it here. If you just give me 1 second, everybody, just hold on. It was Jeff Villiers or James Villiers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I was very, very wrong.
Just some British guy. That was later. Blood from the Mummy's Tomb was later, and you don't really have the name actors at that point anymore.
That's that. No, I mean, other than the character actors, yeah.
Yeah, no Lee, no Cush. I mean, I'm saying like the Hammer leads are kind of gone.
No.
Yeah, they're sort of gone. But you do have, because you've got Valerie Leon, who was in a lot of those.
She was the reason I remember that movie fondly.
Of course, yeah. Here you go. Peter Cushing was cast in the lead role, but then his wife died. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's bad timing.
So it was supposed to be Peter Cushing.
Right, there we go.
Yeah, all right. And that would have made sense. 1947, we got... I will say, this one, as far as I can tell, this one follows the basic beats, but really isn't like that much of an adaptation of the novel.
No, he took elements of the story and then decided, because probably budget, to make it a locked room mystery. He literally puts them in a mansion for the entire thing, and I was like, wow, that's saving some money. Way to go, buddy. But we do have Corbeck. We do have the resurrecting queen, who is the titular mummy, if you know what I mean.
The
queen,
titular mummy, yeah.
Queen Kara, I think.
Queen Tara.
And Tara, right. And the daughter, who is basically the vessel of the queen's spirit.
Yeah, these
are all the same beats. There's a jewel. There's a bunch of artifacts that have to come together. I remember that from Blood from the Mummy's Tomb.
They've chosen the bold choice of not making the story make sense. That's sort of the
that's the thing, is that very late, like almost towards the end, someone tries to lay it out in a pretty clear way, and it's still like too little too late, man.
What are you talking
because
about?
We've just spent an hour, 20 minutes going, what the hell?
What the hell? What the hell, man?
Well, it's when you're about to say something else, but you divert into a nicer word.
There you go. So 1947, we see a guy grab the jewel in the tomb in Egypt, and then as I write a lot of this, because the makeup's bad and the cinematography's bad, I write he grabs a jewel and then he melts or something.
Yeah, so Lil Corbeck, which I think was a Saturday morning show.
Now, see, that's the thing, is I really think that was the better thing, Lil Corbeck.
He's holding on to a gem. I think he's actually holding a blue one or something.
Oh, the main gem in this movie looks like shit. It's a horrible.
Oh my god, it looks like a plastic fake that you would have gotten with like a toy set.
No, it's insane. It's not even like clear. It's like a cloudy and I'm like, stop showing close-ups of it. It looks like garbage. Yeah,
if that is your mystical gem, don't let the camera linger on it, because it looks like shit. It looks like something you would have gotten out of a coin-operated gumball machine. It is really bad.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
But the Tomb Raider guy, who Lil Corbeck is spying on, he opens the sarcophagus, grabs the big red stupid one, and then he's like, "I've got it! Yay!" He goes to a door, and it's very confusing. This is literally 2 minutes in. You're like, "What is this?" Like, there's some sort of flash of light, but we don't know what's happening. They spend 6 minutes with him going from the back, and we don't even know what's happened.
Get ready for a lot of that in this movie. There's a lot of people going
Oh, I felt so bad for your friend, the Mrs. Garrett replacement.
Oh, I know, she really gets it bad.
But But she survives. I love how many you think somebody's
know.
dead in this movie, and then 8 minutes later they've got like a bandage on their face.
So many of my notes are like they are killed. Oh wait, no, they're not. They're back somehow.
Oh God. Anyway,
Richard Karn dies twice. We'll get to when he dies in a dream sequence and then actually dies in the movie.
Yeah, Lil Corbeck goes up to the grave robber, and the grave robber turns around. Oh my God! Bad makeup of he's been scalded as if by the sun. He's burnt.
This is an actor named Tico Wells that's playing Lil Corbeck in this.
Oh, that's nice. Tico did a. Except for, is you sure that's Lil Corbeck or middle? Because we also see middle Corbeck.
Oh, I don't know.
I think you're probably seeing middle Corbeck.
I think you're right. This is young.
I don't think
Corbeck.
the kid gets anything.
I don't think he gets a credit. You're talking about young Corbeck because Tico Wells is an actor, like, and is in stuff. And he's
Tico Wells plays
you're right, because he's already been in Universal Soldier and he's an adult.
Yeah, he's in the flashback when Corbeck is in his 20s or 30s.
Yeah,
that's
then never mind. They just fucking didn't credit this kid because who cares?
Because who cares? Because he's only here for this.
And I will just say though, just be happy. We're happy to say. Tico Wells' career does survive. He's still working to this day. Still working on a lot of stuff. So
I'm happy for Tico. I thought he did a fine job.
He's a voice actor on Family Guy, actually.
I thought Kelly Perrine, who does Keen, the weirdly Jamaican. Here's the thing I don't understand. I know we haven't even gotten to the plot in general, but the entire movie is about to shift to San Francisco. It's about to shift to, and occasionally like the Sonoma Valley. Kind of. So basically, Northern California. Why does everybody in this movie, except for Amy Locane and her boyfriend, and Al Borland, why is everybody British? Or like when Keen shows up and he's Jamaican. Yeah. What is with this?
I will say I was bummed that Amy Locane is not doing the god awful Southern accent she was doing on Melrose Place.
Yes.
Because her character on Melrose Place, for those who don't remember, was I'm just the girl from the small town in the South who moved here to be an actress.
Well, the thing is, literally, and I remember because I was living there at the time, they put out, it was a petition.
Wait.
Everyone in the South signed.
I thought you were going to say, I didn't know you had an apartment at Melrose Place.
No, I didn't have an apartment at Melrose Place. They have look restrictions.
I was going to say, I always, because there's, we follow the people who live in like 5 of the apartments. I always wanted to be
and everyone's beautiful.
I know, and I always wanted to be like a guy like me is in one of the other apartments just going, oh, what the hell? Are people fucking in the pool again? God damn it.
Oh, it looks like they're having a barbecue. It looks like once again I was not invited.
Keep it down in there, Grant Shaw.
Not invited to the barbecue.
Come on, Heather Locklear. I know I'm late on rent, but
man, the only one I might have had a chance with was Courtney Thorne-Smith because she hooked up with Carrot Top in a movie, so I think I had a chance. All right. So anyway,
yeah. Sorry. I don't know, man. There were some of those women who seemed down for anything. So.
Okay.
I think you might have had a shot with Sydney.
Sydney. Yeah.
Who ends up a prostitute by mistake.
All right. Okay. We have to stay on.
No,
target.
I'm going to keep talking about continuity from Melrose Place. Damn it.
So what happens after Lil Corbeck?
Cut to present day California.
Yeah.
Because California knows how to party. I don't know if you've heard about this, Brendan.
California knows how to party.
And we cut to Jesus Christ, more good actors.
We cut to Jesus Christ?
We cut to the Lord and Savior. But I was going to say Lloyd Bachner, who's like, not like a big star, but certainly above this shit.
Oh, he's very far above this shit. And he got paid for nothing.
I know, it is. I did also go at a certain point. I was like, "Oh no, Lloyd Bachner, you're better than this." But then I went, "Oh, good on you, Lloyd. You took a paycheck to basically lay around. You have like 5 lines in the movie."
Yeah, he shows up here as an Egyptologist dude who just got something in the mail.
He's playing.
Turns out
Abel Trelawney.
And I love the fact that you can be an Egyptologist or archaeologist and not have to go dig. People will just mail you shit. So
I laugh so hard at when number one, it's a tablet. I always love this in things where it's like it's a tablet that's just in 2 perfect pieces that slot together. That's how you find shit, right?
Also, this tablet is not so big, nor the hieroglyphics so big. I'm sitting there going, couldn't you have kind of extrapolated what it said? Even without the other half.
Well, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, but he puts it together. Of course, he starts to recite it. Oh, wouldn't you know that he also happens to have Queen Tara's mummy sarcophagus in his study?
Yeah. And we cut to a mummy, a wrapped mummy hand start moving its fingers. But once again, because the editing and cinematography are so bad, I don't know where the mummy is, because the mummy isn't in the sarcophagus.
No.
So we're cutting away.
Wait. No,
it's not. It's in the basement. Because we see it later when it's hiding in the basement, and it.
But
grabs
that's post this. It originally is in the sarcophagus.
Well, then we never see it get out of the sarcophagus.
No, we don't.
Down.
That's the thing that threw me.
Okay, this is the thing. I don't know where the mummy is moment to moment.
The sarcophagus is shown to be about 8 feet away from the guy's desk while he's reciting this.
Which is hilarious that you could just have that.
Right. And then but they do make a point of that. Like when Al shows up later, I don't know what his character name is. We're going to keep calling him Al.
He's Al. He's Al Borland, man.
But when he shows up, he's like, I can't believe he had all this stuff just in his house. And you're like, okay, I get it.
Like I said, Home Improvement was on at this point. Do you think once again he's going to Tim Allen going, Tim, I just got this script for a mummy movie.
Yeah, this is great.
And he and Tim read it and went, oh.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. And then he showed his penis to
he said that never happened.
Oh, I'm sure.
And several people said that's not something he would do.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, that is true.
I did also.
But anyway,
I do stand by. Even if that did happen, I'm like, yeah, that's not good. But it's, I don't know, man. In today's world, that's pretty light.
You are really on. You're pro showing penis. That is what we've decided.
No, but it sounds more like a juvenile frat house shittiness.
That is probably what I think is
active, sexual harassment. I don't know.
Yes, but anyway. So
I wouldn't do it, that's all I'm saying.
But what happens here is he says the thing. We see that hand, as you mentioned, moving.
But it's unclear. Once again, it's sort of like, okay, so okay.
Right, but then
he stops reading and he starts talking to the sarcophagus. By the way, also much like the jewel we talked about, looks like complete shit.
Oh, absolutely! I did better than that in art class in 6th grade.
I was gonna say this is like a high school play prop.
Yeah. But he has a little model of the Earth and Moon kind of thing, and he sees that it's moving, and he's like, "Well, how did that happen?" And maybe it was the cat. He gets up to examine, and then he finds a strand of wrapping on the ground.
Yep,
and then the mummy just looms out of like a crack over by the wall. So I'm like, how did the mummy get in and pass him, even if he didn't or she didn't come out of the sarcophagus? How did she get in there behind him without him seeing it? And then this mummy's like, I was there all along. And
this is what I'm talking about. So the mummy isn't, but like tracking where the mummy is from scene to scene is so hard.
And then we do find out later there are other mummies because apparently he collected not only her mummy, but
that also makes it confusing. There's also the fact that there are like 4 to 5 just extraneous characters in this movie too that they would cut away to, and I would go, "What? Who's this guy?"
Yeah, there's this character who we'll be talking about in just a bit, who is a Scotland Yard detective played by Mark Lindsay Chapman. There's also a character named Jimmy, who I think is the chauffeur guy. Whatever.
Yes, and those two. They're the same guy as far as I was concerned.
And so there was a part, the one scene that I actually thought, I mean, it wasn't creepy, but I was like, that's kind of baller. It's when Jimmy is in the basement. He gets strangled. Like the mummy is using his own wrappings as a garrote. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I haven't seen that.
I will say that was one of the only new wrinkle.
And then he takes Jimmy for a drag.
Yeah.
The whole time I thought that was the Scotland Yard guy. And then when the Scotland Yard guy shows up, I'm like, wait, didn't you just get strangled?
Exactly the same case here. Exactly the same thought here. I was like, wait, what? Oh shit. But also, because as we know, also not only are there characters who look alike, But there are also characters who are just suddenly alive after you think they died. So I'm still being thrown all over the place. Oh my god.
Yep.
Mark Lindsay Chapman in this movie. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you want it. Yeah, that's my impression of his whole part.
Yes. Well, I think that's a pretty good impression. Only you're leaving out one thing.
Yeah.
Well, I saw something like this when I worked at the yard. He mentions the yard.
The yard.
Every third sentence he mentions that he used to work for the yard.
He has the sad role of the guy who never believes something supernatural is happening.
I know, even when it literally happens.
You talk about a mommy that's not real. Back at the yard.
End, he sees that it's real, and he's like, well, what do you know?
Well, guess the joke's on me. By the way, can we talk about... I can't think of a come down bigger than the fact that the movie he made before this was Titanic. He went from Titanic to this. I always imagine like actors going from set to set, filmmaker to film, but it is like, could you go from James Cameron, the biggest production in film history, to just this piece of shit, and then follows this up with a guest appearance on the beloved series Nightman. Oh, Nightman. Boy. Nightman.
But he does have the distinction of being a DC villain for many episodes, since he played Dr. Anton Arcane on the Swamp Thing TV show.
Every episode of that show. I loved that show as a kid because, once again, it's a show I never want to rewatch again because
it was the comics.
That's the thing about it, man. But I'm going like, I have there's no way that holds up. But in my memory, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, it doesn't hold up.
No, it can't.
No, it's no good.
It can't. He's also in 2 episodes of Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman. So lots of DC work.
Awesome.
Anyway, so yeah.
Was that before or after he worked for the yard?
That was when he was working for the yard. Oh boy, and
I love that every British person that came to America apparently moved into the same few miles of San Francisco.
Well, you know what it is? It's Wee Britain from Arrested Development.
It's Wee Britain. Honest to God, they have like a housekeeper who's almost Dickensian. Like, pardon me, sir.
But also sexy. Like the way they've got her dressed up in this sexy little housekeeper outfit.
Yeah, and then she has a vision of a sex scene, and I was like, wait, is that her? And I was like, no, it's not. Why is she having a vision of someone else's sex scene?
Yeah, she's having a vision of another person. It's a sure sign of a shitty horror movie, particularly when it's just like there's just random nudity in this movie that has it's not doesn't even seem to be any characters that are in the movie.
Also, I would say if you're having a character that, I mean, this is early that this happens. Yeah. So you're expecting her to be a lot more important because she just had a vision. You're like, that she must be important to the plot.
At this point,
and then she vanishes for like 35 minutes.
And then I thought she's gone, and then she comes back. But I thought when she had this vision, I'm going, oh, she's going to be like the person connected to the mummy history.
I thought that, like, either she's the reincarnated or she was like a priestess or handmaiden or whatever, but no, she just randomly
this is only one of 8 things she ever did in her career. So this was the first thing she did, followed up by an episode of King of Queens. So, talk about another huge shift. You go from working with a mummy.
She might have known an ex-girlfriend of mine who worked on that show. Anyway, moving.
But we do get this professor guy is going, no, I won't finish it, and you just once again poor Lloyd Bachner having to yell at a shitty-looking sarcophagus, and that's the scene where he's like, I won't do it! You won't make me do it! And then, of course, he takes ill, and he's basically unconscious the rest of the movie.
At which point he said, thank you!
Yeah.
And then he slept for the rest of his part. He only had to occasionally toss and turn in his sleep. That was basically
and some of that is pretty funny. But I do like the idea of him just, like, between takes, he's laying on the couch going, I'm sorry, are those pizza bagels over there on that table? Could someone bring me those? Hello?
So
Excuse me.
Are those Totino's pizza rolls? Because I think this movie, they didn't have the money for pizza bagels.
And by the way, the man was not really British, but but still, he was Canadian apparently. And I would also be remiss if I did not mention that he was Mayor Hamilton Hill on Batman the Animated Series. So
yeah, he certainly was and did a fine job.
And like a lot of those people, worked forever on every tie-in video game and straight-to-video thing they needed. He and Bob Hastings, who was Commissioner Gordon, they worked forever on that shit.
They did.
That Batman was very good to those people. All right. So we then cut to Al Borland, and he is quizzing our main character, who this is also son of a bad movie, whose name I kept mistaking. I kept calling him Richard or Robert, depending on what the scene was, and then forgetting, because who could care? And the answer is it's Robert, I guess. But here's the thing.
Robert Wyatt.
And a lot of people just call him Wyatt. And then that was also throwing me.
Yeah, that's weird.
But Al, by the way, Al has the part we would have in this movie, right? The nerd,
the nerd
who knows about Egyptian stuff and who's telling the handsome guy, no, that's the wrong era.
Speaking of unnecessary characters, all right, if you're doing a movie about a mummy, you got a lead character, and in this case, weirdly, Korbeck isn't the lead character. He comes in sort of like the Quint later in the movie.
Very much Quint used.
The heroic lead you expect would be, all right, he'll be our Egyptologist. He'll be, in this case, they've set it up that he's an art history guy who basically only went into Egyptology to impress a girlfriend who he's not even with anymore, and that is Amy Locane.
It's so unnecessary. They should just have them together. The whole they so quickly recouple that who could care that they broke?
I know.
It's like it's just extraneous shit.
Having an extraneous guy who is the real Egyptologist expert who has to confer with him over the phone or occasionally at a cafe and go, oh yeah, that's a thing for the da-da-da.
Every scene Richard Karn is in this movie is just for him to go, by the way, here's that information you wanted, da-da-da-da-da, and bye, I'll be back for the next scene.
And he's like, are you sure you still want to stick with Egyptology even though you're not boning that chick anymore? He's like, yeah, I guess I'll stick to it.
Well, and here's the thing about Richard Karn's whole character. He's just looking to get some in this movie.
Because, that is famous. Egyptologists are horny bastards.
Yeah.
We know this. We know this as a fact.
Well, because he keeps talking about stuff where he's like, oh, yeah, man, I got this thing. It really impresses the chicks. And then, okay, that scene where that woman's in bed and then leaves, hooker, right? 100% a prostitute. No question
I would
in
assume
my
so,
mind.
But I like the fact that, I guess they have not even finished
she's out
dealings.
That door, man.
And then she gets up and is like, yeah, I'm out of here. I was about to leave anyway. And he's like, what?
But you already took the money. Oh. But also, he's such a fucking nerd that even when he's going, don't go, please stay, I'm almost, what did you say? Oh, that is interesting. Like
that is fascinating. I'll be there immediately.
It is like, oh man, even over sex, he is like, well, Egyptology, though, is pretty interesting.
I love the part later on where we'll get to it when he is killed.
Yep.
And then someone comes in.
Wait, for real or the? Oh yes, when he's killed for real, because also
for real. Yeah, I know.
He dies in a radically unnecessary dream sequence.
Yeah. Oh god. But yeah, when he dies for real and he is electrocuted, and then later on, someone comes in and going. And it's like, how did you know to find us? Blah, blah, blah. Or how'd you know he was connected to us? And like the cop goes, that guy was fried like an egg. How'd you know to find us?
Yes.
Because your name and number was on a piece of paper in his pocket. I'm like going, the pocket of the man who was fried like an egg?
Yeah.
And the piece of paper was somehow okay?
Everything about him was fried except this piece of paper.
Piece of paper. This was shittily written and shittily directed.
Was it? I didn't pick up on any of that.
I know. I'm sorry that I have such a...
The whole thing is a mess. It is just...
It's a mess.
This is one of the... Every once in a while we do these where it's just like, this thing fails on every level. I was actually... We did Subspecies last week. How is this not a Charles Band produced? It really has that vibe to it.
It's not even that good.
You don't
what
think
I was going to
so?
say earlier
it gave
is...
me that feeling to me. I was about that level.
this looks like a really
What about
long
Howling
audition reel for someone who wants to get a job directing a Tales from the Dark Side or a monster.
Yeah.
This looks like a syndicated horror TV show, and yet it's an R-rated feature film that seems to be shot like it's a direct to syndication.
It's the whole movie is shot through a dirty cloth too, right? Like,
God!
We weren't watching the best copy of it, but even still, you could see, even if we watched a pristine HD, version of it, it would have looked like shit.
Oh God, this movie.
It's really bad. It's really bad. I think you're right on about the Tales from the Dark Side as somebody who spent a lot of time, except for, I think the writing on every single one of those would be better than this.
Absolutely guaranteed. and I would watch one of those in a second over this, because if nothing else, those are also only 28 minutes long.
Although I will also say that's a show that's best left to my memories again, I think, much like the Swamp Thing. I used to love Tales from the Dark Side. I have a feeling I probably wouldn't enjoy those. It does hold up, though. Well, maybe it would, because I was going to say, I've been watching a lot of Tales from the Crypt, and that's still pretty good.
Well, that's the high end.
No, that's the better one. Yeah, that's the better one. Well, don't tell me that Freddy's Nightmares is not as good as I remember it.
I'm sorry to say that. Yeah, keep your memories.
That one I did. What the one that's the Freddy origin story is pretty good. I mean, it's cheap, but it's good. Toby Hooper directed it. Anyway, okay. Let's see here. So. My favorite line in the movie is coming up. So he gets called. Amy Locane is like, I know we broke up, but my father's had a medical thing. I'm sending my driver to pick you up. And so they bring him to
the driver, actually, who is, I guess, Jimmy. He shows up.
He goes, this guy just walks outside, and there's a guy with a limo. And he goes, get in.
Well, no, first it's like he's staking the place out, which makes our lead paranoid. So he goes, what are you doing? Grabs him, pulls him in.
Oh God, that's right. Oh my God.
Fakes holding him up by pressing a wine bottle against his back like he has a gun. He's like, who are you? What are you doing here?
Doesn't the guy when he sees the wine bottle, doesn't he have some kind of like, you cheeky bastard?
Yeah, he does. But he's like, listen to your answering machine.
Yeah.
So he listens to the answering machine, and Jimmy. It's his ex-girlfriend.
My name's Jimmy.
Amy Locane saying, I'm sending my driver. He's going to bring you to me. And I guess it's supposed to be funny that this guy is a chauffeur for rich people. Yeah. And yet, right before they leave, he takes a swig from his flask. So he's a drunk driving limousine. That's awesome.
And that will pay off not at all.
Well, at some point, someone mentions the flask, and it had something to do with the plot, but I couldn't tell you. I have no idea. Don't even care.
Oh, boy. This guy, by the way, the guy who plays Jimmy is a guy named Julian Stone.
Yeah.
A lot of credits, but a lot of unnamed characters and stuff.
Perfect.
A lot of that, including just a single unnamed voice performance in Fast and Furious 6.
Same in 4 Weddings and a Funeral. He is in the Loop group.
Yeah, I think he settled into that. Same thing with why he's like an uncredited extra in John Carter. And, Thor the Dark World. Yeah, I think he does a lot. And, hey, that's work, man. I'd be more than happy.
Yeah, he's doing voice work.
I'd be more than happy to be passerby number 2 in a Marvel movie.
He's doing a lot of voice work.
He goes, what is that over there? Is he driving a car?
But he's not. He didn't work for the yard. That's the other guy.
But how could you confuse us? Because you're the same fucking guy.
It's like this writer-director was determined to make a Hammer film, but he's like, I live and work in San Francisco.
Yeah.
So I'm going to set it in San Francisco, but I want every British person I can find. Then I'll put Amy Locane in there.
Because I do think it is based on the Bram Stoker novel, but I think he's probably more inspired by Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, right?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
That's where it's just like, I love that one.
He's like, you know what? The thing that missed out on because they were so hamstrung back in the 60s, nameless sex scenes that don't tie into the plot at all. Yeah. I can do that. They couldn't.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think as we talked about with the lead actress in that, a much sexier movie that just doesn't have the overt sexuality of this, but is sexier, and that can often be the case in movies.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes not just because instead when it just cuts to random Cinemax level sex scenes. Actually,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I don't want to drag Cinemax through the mud. Their sex scenes were always much better shot than this. Any After
Well
Dark
done.
series was better shot than these.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
like you're talking about, it's not only that there's not characters we know, but the fact that it takes me like a minute to realize it's characters we don't know is an indication of how
plus,
bad they are.
There's no lead in.
No.
In other words, if you're going for eroticism, you've followed characters for a bit who are hot for each other or whatever,
Sure.
or you have scenes that build up to it. This date went really well. Now we're gonna have sex. These just literally drop in as visions
Like I
or
said,
flashbacks.
It does just feel like, oh man, this movie's kind of boring.
And you're like, who is this? Why are they in a blue light having sex? Who are these people?
It does kind of feel like they're like, this movie's not working. What if
I was thinking, is this Locaine? And then it turns out it's not her either, because when she has a sex scene later,
it's very much
there's
a
a
body
clear
double.
body double, and
In
then
fact,
cut to her, and she's got her like arms over her chest, going, "That was great."
I gotta say, it's one of the worst shootings of a body double in that, like, well, you could at least like try to hide it.
No. The camera kind of pans up to right under the chin.
Yeah,
and it's like, that's far enough.
And anytime you do stuff like that, it's like, just shoot the sex scene without the nudity then. I would rather she be randomly like in a bra or something than to put in these shots that don't belong in the movie.
You don't get it. You just don't know what makes a good movie, so that's okay. It's okay.
I would say I aggressively get why they're doing it, but
no, you just don't understand movie making. It's fine. That shows up occasionally.
Do you think the guy? Somebody's like, "Oh my God, it's the chick from Melrose." Oh wait, no, it's not. Dang.
Oh, I'm sure there were when this finally hit. It couldn't have gone to the theater.
Oh, I don't think no.
Blockbuster show. I'm sure there were people literally pausing, like, "Oh wait, no, that's not her."
Oh
shit,
man.
That is $250 I'll never get back.
God damn, that fake Southern accent was just so hot on that show. And I should say, fake, inconsistent. She's in 13 episodes, and I think the Southern accent goes away after 4. I guess I lost my accent. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sorry, I had to look at...
you didn't have to. You chose.
A user reviews here, and I'll have...
No, I did. I scanned through them. There's not a positive one in the bunch, which makes me feel better.
No, there is.
What?
I found one.
Every single one I saw was like a slam, and actually a couple of them have really good headlines.
Stagey but well-made adaptation of Stoker's story.
Oh, God damn
This movie reminded me of a lower-budget version of the Nicole Kidman movie, The Others. Don't fucking invoke that movie. How dare you?
What?
The performances are good. Sometimes very good. And the spirit of Bram Stoker's tale is well created. The sound mix is excellent, and though this is a very different movie from the wonderful Brendan Fraser. What?
Wow.
Set your expectations accordingly, and I feel you will not be disappointed. There's a difference between the pace of a stage play and a 21st century movie, and whilst Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy could not be described as brisk or energetic, it is a well-told story worthy of the £1 I got it for.
Okay.
Well,
all right.
I mean, dude, I don't even think it's worth the £1.
Meanwhile,
I watched this on YouTube, and I want my money back.
I'm going to read a couple of headlines. I'm not going to go into the full review.
Yeah.
Makes any Pauly Shore film look provocative and enjoyable.
I did catch that one, which I enjoy.
And the very number one they put up at the top, a shambling putrescent mess best left undiscovered. Quote, or parentheses, I'm talking about the film, not the mummy. I like that very much.
I also do enjoy
all right. So anyway, so Robert has been brought to the fancy home.
Bobby Wyatt.
Bobby Wyatt, the fancy home of his ex-gal pal,
man,
Amy Locaine,
boy,
who is the daughter of Lloyd Bachner, who has fallen into a coma.
Yes, he's fallen into a coma, and this leads me to what I was going to say. It sets up my favorite line in the movie, which does go to the great Aubrey Morris as the doctor, who's looking at him and goes, "Why, this is the strangest coma I've ever seen." What? I've never seen a coma quite like this.
By all means, let's leave him here on the couch.
Well, because they
and
talk
I love
about
that Amy Locane is playing a character called Margaret Trelawney.
Yeah.
Of all the people, I mean, again, you never bought her as Southern. I certainly also don't buy her as the daughter of any kind of British.
I don't buy her as anything other than a boring blonde woman from California.
That's all I buy her as.
That's it, man.
Margaret Trelawney.
Trelawney, folks. Well, because they do this, and it's so lazy. And I believe me, I've written, I mentioned it'll never come out, but I did write a low budget horror film that never got finished. But I had to do things like this, where the Aubrey Morris goes, "We need to get him to a hospital." And it's just a one-off Amy Locane line going, "No, Daddy would never allow that. He hates doctors."
Yes, and then what's more, he left these instructions in case something like this happened. This is, I mean,
in the event of strange coma, please.
Really? He says, like, okay, I need to be watched by 2 people all day, all night long. Switch off. So never less than 2. I need to make sure that no one opens the safe.
Never less than 2, but never more than 5. Please.
It's the instructions to the holy hand grenade. But
yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. So, but these are grown-up professional people in our world, modern world, and they're like, okay, he knows best.
This is a thing I think
so
about
every once in a while.
We're all going
to stay in this mansion while this guy is in a coma for no good reason.
This is a thought that stems from when I was a kid, but I still have it to this day when I see a movie like this. And I think, as you said that about the characters, I say that about grown-ups made this movie. Professional people considers themselves artists or at least professionals of some sort made this movie. Like a bunch of people put their time and effort into this thing.
Yeah.
And this is what it is. I mean, it's just one of these things where it's like, you have to know when you're doing these scenes. This is horrible. I know nobody sets out to make a bad movie, but my God, you have to know, like, this isn't going anywhere.
And I mean, okay, everyone has different layers and levels of skill as far as creative stuff. So, but I can only imagine that even an amateur writer would be able to look at the stuff on the page and go, oh, this isn't explained well, or this is a really weak solution to this plot problem. Maybe we could come up with something better. Can it be that the producers and the writer just went, it's good enough?
I 100%. I think it's like, can we make the day? This is a total whatever, man. Like sure, as long as we can get that in today, you know.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Whatever it is, that take was good enough, man. That's as good as Amy Locane is gonna get. We only have so much film, you guys.
Yep.
Really. That's my reaction to this whole movie. Okay. So they hear the recording. Sexy flashback. Oh, also when she's having the sexy flashback, the maid woman, or flash 2, it's not even a flashback. That would imply she's part of it. She's just having an image of, she's just having a sexual fantasy basically about some other people.
It seems to be.
She grabs a doorknob and her hand is covered in blood, and then she sees blood seeping from the door, but then when she looks away and looks back, it's gone. I don't know what that's meant to signify at all.
And again, this is early enough to where, since they're introducing this character, and she has this really weird introduction. This is pre the fantasy.
Yeah.
She is portrayed, she is a very attractive young lady,
and I said they've got
her
her
maid outfit.
Yes, they've got her dressed up in a sexy maid outfit though.
Yeah, like and she sees Robert to his room in this mansion, and he's like, it's kind of cold. Could you turn on the heater? She goes, no heater, sir, but I could go down in the basement and get a space heater for you. And it's like, well, that's very nice. Thank you very much. He's not hitting on her or whatever. But then she goes, excuse me, sir, is it true that you're from San Francisco? And he's like, yeah. Is it true they have clubs there where someone like me could go? And I'm like, what the fuck are you getting at? So again, they're setting up this character
this
like,
is Dickensian orphan, yeah.
Yeah, but it's sort of like she's sheltered, and maybe she's going to try to use him to get out of this life, or maybe she's going to come on to him or something.
Sir, Tell me what sex is.
The way this is set up, that's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
And then she goes down to the basement, has her weird sex vision, and then you're not going to see her for like 40 minutes.
Well,
people will talk about her because her mother is Mrs. Garrett replacement lady. But they'll just talk about her, and I'm like, is she okay? Did she ever come up from the basement with the space heater?
Well, because when she goes down there, she goes down to the basement, and we see the mummy is down there watching her, and it's like, ooh, something, and then nothing happens.
And then nothing happens.
And you're like,
and when she comes back later, she doesn't go, I'm so sorry it took me so long. Something weird was in the... Nope. She's just like, boop, 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 boop.
I thought this was the slasher of I'm going to go get beer from the fridge in the garage. Oh, no.
Yep.
No, it's just nothing.
Nope, nothing.
Well, get used to that, folks. So, this is where we meet Daw. Is that his name, the Scotland Yard?
Daw is the name of the ex-Scotland Yard detective.
Yeah. And he comes in, and he is no fan of Wyatt at all. Bobby Wyatt, he's like, what are you doing here?
The thing that doesn't make any sense... Oh, the thing. One of the things that makes no sense
Dude,
is...
if we could just fix this one thing, the whole movie would work.
They introduced this guy who used to be a Scotland Yard investigator, so he's kind of like a cop or detective type guy. But we don't know what his jurisdiction is. No. I don't think if they did explain why he's here, what his connection to the Trelawneys is, I'm not quite sure. But also... He comes in, and I think the only direction Mark Lindsay Chapman, or whatever his name is...
Who also is an actor who has been good in things.
And also famously shot John Lennon to death. No, sorry, that's Mark David Chapman.
Still,
sorry,
I would still change my name. Just being one name off of that, it would be too much.
Yeah, it might be a good idea. But regardless, the only note the director gave him was, you're suspicious of everybody. So that's the only note he plays. He walks out like going... Who are you? Why are you here? And then he looks at the Trelawneys like, your old man, is he really in a coma? What are you doing, Margaret? And like, what are you up to?
His big deduction as a detective is he thinks that Amy Locane is responsible for everything he says. Right. Everywhere you go, people get hurt.
It turns out he's right.
Yeah, but it's dumb.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's all dumb, though.
No, it's all dumb.
Yeah.
A terrible pull quote for their video box.
Yeah,
it's all dumb, says John Campbell of Campbell and Jones.
And then, of course, we got Amy Locane in bed, and as I wrote here, she starts having mummy memories.
And again, here's the thing. All right, I know sometimes casting can be tricky. Sometimes it is... You're filming in San Francisco. You have limited means. Maybe you can't find someone who looks very distinctly Egyptian ethnicity.
Yep.
When you find out, as we do by the end of the movie, that Queen Tara is never even going to have a line of dialogue. It's just about a visual. You're telling me you can't get any better? Literally, when they flash back to ancient Egypt, this is as bad as the Universal days. You've got white people in Egypt face.
Yeah.
Her soldiers are just white dudes from the beach.
By the way, I'm shocked they didn't just use Amy Locane in these.
But instead they got a different actress who I think is in one of the nude scenes. But regardless, and they've put her in.
Here's the thing on that. Possibly, who could tell?
But they
Rachel
put
Naples,
her in
by the way, is the actress.
Spirit Halloween store Cleopatra wig, and that is how they go. Yep, that's an ancient Egyptian princess.
Rachel Naples plays the princess. This is one of only 2 credits she has. The other one is as girl number 2 in an episode of Hearts of Fire. Do people remember Hearts of Fire?
I do remember the show, but I never watched it.
John Ritter, Marky Post, Billy Bob
Thornton. Again, really good cast, but I just didn't care. I didn't know that we didn't have much longer to spend with Mr.
I will
Ritter.
say, though, because that was Billy Bob Thornton was on that show, one of his early gigs, and that leads to John Ritter being in Sling Blade, which is amazing.
Yes, that's true. And legitimately one of those late career awesome roles he had.
And Bad Santa. Those 2 stayed, and he's great in that, too.
Oh, man, he's amazing in Bad Santa.
He's so funny in Bad Santa, which would sadly be his final performance.
Said, you ain't gonna shit right for a month.
The guy,
Good Lord.
The guy who's way too nice and is trying to explain.
Yeah.
Like every time Bernie Mac is cursing him, he's like,
yeah, the physical revulsion, so good.
John Ritter, comic genius, man.
R.I.P.
to one of the greats.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So let's see. Oh no, we've got Al is the kind of nerd who's got a computer, so you better really get some 1998 web page open up where he goes. Well, I looked into the specifics of this mummy that they have there. And,
I love that he, the way they represent this, and they're not making the technology look different than it did back then. They're not making it look better.
It's just goofy to see.
But the idea that you could do in 1998 some sort of library search of newspaper articles, and it would just bring up not just even like an OCR where they scan the text. It's literally just a scan of one newspaper article. I'm like, wow. And I couldn't do that in 98.
In this newspaper article, it says not only was what's the guy, Crawley?
What?
What's the guy's name? The doctor.
Trelawney,
not Crawley.
And then Corbeck. This is where we find out that they work together.
They mentioned because he found the newspaper about the Trelawney dig, and in it is mentioned Corbeck, and that leads to.
And Borland knows about it. He's like, Corbeck, man, he's notorious. He's more of a grave robber, thief guy than a real archaeologist.
Say he even tried to mummify people.
Yeah, like he had some weird plan for like live mummification.
This guy is dangerous, man. But anyway, here's where he's currently staying. Don't go there, but hey, man, don't go there. But this is where he is, and he's in. What is he? Where is he? He's in like is this supposed to be a mental institution? Where is he?
It looks like a jail or a mental institution.
But he just leaves. That's the gag here, right?
I know.
He's in the cell, and
this is an actor who knows what he's doing, and has been around the block.
Oh, a guy who's already a legend at this point that he's doing this.
So literally, he's shot from behind, and so he's quoting poetry or something, and he's got his earrings, which is very much a Louis Gossett Jr.
Oh, hell yeah. Absolutely.
So he's doing like this dramatic turn because he's just from the back, but then he kind of turns around. It's like, there he is. There's your man. And
we've been waiting the whole movie. I have been waiting to see him because he's already made like 5 Iron Eagle movies at this point. So guy made
that's right.
He did a lot of those. And I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up one of my favorite performances, which is this Calvin Bouchard from Jaws 3D.
Oh yeah, that's a terrible movie, but
it's a similar performance to this where he just swaggers through that thing.
Yep.
And the reason I remember he's Calvin Bouchard is he keeps saying, "I'm Calvin Bouchard."
Yeah, he decided that his character needed to constantly state his name,
and it says in the credits, and Louis Gossett Jr. as Calvin Bouchard, which I love when movies will put as a character, but it's not like And Leonard Nimoy is Spock, where you're like, it's like Samuel Jackson.
No, this is a character we've never heard of before.
And you're like, who the fuck is Calvin Bouchard? And then by the end of the movie, I'm like, Calvin Bouchard was a bad motherfucker, is what he was. So it's very funny. So yeah, he shows up and he's like, I don't want to hear about Trelawney. Trelawney's the reason I'm in here.
Yeah.
Except, is he? And why? And also, where are you?
All the backstory, I didn't.
No, I couldn't follow, man. I couldn't, and I couldn't follow it, and then I just gave up. That's exactly. You have to, or I was going to drive me insane if I didn't.
Yep.
Because it doesn't make any sense. But yes, they were partners of some sort, and he went crazy, I guess, or didn't, because they talk, and he's the one talking about the stars.
Got busted because there's a lot of suspicion about like, did they actually find things that they never reported and then illegally took out of tombs?
Right. But why is that Trelawney's fault?
And then Tony Curtis shows up going, "You desecrated our tombs."
And the web, come on, baby. Let's go.
Why did you do this?
By the son of Ra. Anyway, I'll have pastrami and provolone. Still, I can't think. I think shout out to the guys over at Blank Check for the comment that Tony Curtis sounds like he's always ordering in a deli, and it's absolutely true.
Oh yeah, it is.
That was on their Spartacus episode, but every time it is like, Spartacus, how you doing? Do you want to get some bologna on that? Yeah, it is.
Stop stealing from other podcasts, or I will report you.
Oh no! God damn it! They're on to me.
to the podcast police.
You got to watch out for those podcast police, man. They'll get you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he shows up, and yeah, the whole bit here is, and he's also connected to, because they say he's the one who keeps talking about these stars, and I'm like, oh man, you guys are. This is getting sweaty trying to get back to the Stoker novel, right, with the stars. And you're like,
well, I mean, they talk about the jewel, the red one that looks absolutely like garbage, but they like going, that is a 7-sided diamond or ruby or some kind of special jewel.
Okay.
And then later on, they're also the stars, and then later on, the queen has 7 fingers. I'm like, yeah, okay, man, whatever.
Okay. Here's a question.
Sure.
There's a scene where a guy is looking at a journal and it catches fire, and then he dies. Who is that guy?
I don't know.
Do you know the scene I'm talking about, though? The
I
scene
do.
where a guy's reading from a journal, but it cuts away to a guy I've never seen before, and it's one of their special effects scenes, and he's looking at this journal, it catches fire in his hand, and then he burns up, and I did not know who that guy was.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. I don't.
I don't know. That's insane that you could put that in a movie.
And when the character of Keen comes in, who stands up mainly because he's Jamaican for some reason.
Well, I
was never sure what he was supposed to be doing.
No.
And then when he gets scared off by, again, something weird happening to him, where the pink smoke comes into his room, and then I'm like, oh, is he dead now? And then later on, he's like, he makes a call. He's like, some weird stuff's happening to me. I'm out of this movie. And literally disappears.
I will say,
like,
good
what
choice.
What were you doing in the movie?
Good choice on this actor's part, though, for the Jamaican, because I remember him. Kelly Prain,
I remember.
Who is also an actor I've seen be good in things.
Yeah. I mean, I recognize that is a person that has talent.
I mean, it is sort of a thing where it's like, even though these are all like TV level people, they should still be in something better, except Amy Locane. She's exactly where she needs to be.
Yeah,
that adds up. But everybody, it's like, guys, I know these are like C-list TV people, but even the fucking house gear from Different Strokes deserves better than this, man.
Amen.
Because she really has nothing to do. So Corbeck shows up, and once again, we've established Corbeck's dangerous. He's crazy. But when Amy Locane sees him, she's like, oh my God, Corbeck, how you been?
Yeah, and he's like, it's been a long time. You've grown up. Okay.
Well, I like that we've just given up on doing the accents. We're just doing general Lou Gossett Jr. voice, because I think that's how you do it.
Oh, yeah, no, because it does shift. He's Australian. He becomes Jamaican at one point. It's all over the map with his accent.
This guy is crazy. He doesn't know where he's from.
And I will also say, they're trying to, and the writer-director's trying to cast some doubt on him. Not only is there a mysterious criminal past, he's been in jail or whatever. When he comes in, they tell him, this is what your old friend said to do. You know, 2 people have to watch him day and night, and then he immediately goes, oh, that's bullshit. And he's like, and he goes, I'm just going to go in there with my old pal Abel, and he goes, doesn't he count as one of the 2? That's weird, stupid logic. But it does make him look like immediately he's trying to break the rules
because he's kind of a rogue who plays by his own set of rules. But I was gonna say the other thing is, like, man, I already have trouble with the mythos of this movie and all this stuff that this is setting up and the rules of it. Don't start having somebody question it now. I barely understand what's going on.
Yeah,
when you have somebody come in and go, that's bullshit, I'm like, is it? I don't even know what they're supposed to be doing.
And we had the whole thing with the wait, we haven't had the housekeeper get attacked yet, have we?
Oh, I think we did accidentally skip over that.
Because that's a scene where our hero Robert goes in. He's the night shift.
Oh, because that was earlier, because she's the one who's like, I'm telling you, something is happening. And it's one of those funny, I love this in horror movies where there's just no time, where she's trying to tell Wyatt that it's like, oh no, there's something bad in this house. And he's like, whatever. And then he goes outside, and then she's immediately attacked by a supernatural
Well, no, that's
force.
also the thing is, like, he's like going, well, all we can do is stick to the guy's rules, and the 2 of us are here, so that's fine. and he's like going, I'm gonna get some air. So basically, I'm gonna immediately leave the room by stepping out onto the balcony.
That's all. Yeah,
and that lets her get
all we have
attacked
to do
by
is stick to these
the
rules.
wind.
Oh, the wind! Boy,
she's attacked by air. So it's the camera zooming in on this poor older lady actress going, ah.
Oh, this poor actress. I will say the wind machine and strobe light budget on this movie were like most of what this thing cost, right?
Yes.
Because, man, down the stretch, the strobe light is nonstop.
Mm-hmm.
Another sign of we have no special effects. Let's just, what can we get at the party store?
This is such a cheap, awful movie.
It's really bad.
Let's just jump to the end.
Guys, it's really bad.
Well, Mummy comes out.
Let me see here if we gotta... Oh, and then, yeah, there's also a whole backstory that's never explained, really, but Daw and Corbeck have had run-ins because he's like, you brought Corbeck? That guy's a lunatic!
Maybe Daw worked specially for Trelawney in the past, I guess.
Yeah, because there's some... Because all Corbeck is like, yeah, we have a history. And you're like, what is it?
We don't know.
It doesn't matter.
I did find it sad that they didn't allow Louis Gossett Jr. to do any cigarillo or cigar acting because he's very famous for that.
He really is, man. And if you want more of that, go over to the Action Shelf and listen to our episode about Firewalker, the buddy comedy with him and Chuck Norris. Because that is a movie where that's a pretty bad movie made watchable by Louis Gossett. He's that good in that. He's having a good time there. And at least...
he couldn't save us here, though. He couldn't save us here.
Well, because that also had, like, some money, an idea of fun in it, and was trying to be fun. This movie isn't even trying to be fun.
No, it's trying to be a horror movie, and it doesn't work on any level.
I do want to talk about the scene where Corbeck goes, like, I know your dad wasn't around a lot, but when he was hanging out with me instead and we were digging up things, he always said he loved you. And Amy Locane's like, aw.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you.
And this is the whole, like, middle section of the movie is just like, so now we're just gonna stand around in this house?
Well, that's the thing is, like I said, this guy, his big genius was to take this novel, which is really more of a novella, and he's seen what other people have done with it and said, oh, I don't have that budget, so I will turn it into a locked room mystery where they never really leave this house. So strap in, folks. You're going to spend the next hour. Every one of these characters is trapped in this fucking house, except for one scene where Amy Locane and Robert go to a cafe to hang out with Al Borland for about 5 minutes,
but except
while
then
he grossly eats noodles.
But that's the dream sequence.
Oh, that's right. That's in the dream
sequence. So that
sequence.
doesn't even actually happen. But I will say, I was going to say, and a good filmmaker might have been able to make that work, like a real claustrophobic, there's a monster in this house kind of movie. That's not at all what this is, though.
No.
Kind of another scene I love where Wyatt is talking to Amy Locane, and he's like, man, how are you doing? She goes, I don't know. Maybe I could use a drink and a kiss. And then they just start making out.
The movie.
They just start. Yeah, I like that. This is the strangest coma. You like that? I could use a drink and a kiss. And then
I could use a drink and a kiss.
Well, this is the thing where you're going like, why even establish that they were broken up? Because they just immediately start making out and nothing has changed.
There's also nothing like when they first get together. There's no like tension where it's like, well, I came because you called, but I know things are strained. Well, they literally just go right back into couple rhythm. So I'm like, why, just like you said, why does it matter that they ever broke up?
Huge missed opportunity here to make her in some kind of relationship with Mark Lindsay Chapman, which then would be like, the fuck you doing here, man? You got your old boyfriend, like that kind of thing.
Or they could have turned it like maybe they're not together, but he wants her, so therefore there is some rivalry there.
Yeah, the same thing. Anything like that would have been like, because then you start to explain what. But anyway,
well, then there's a little drama, and this is just about I don't trust you.
I will say, I guess we have to skip through that and move on from that because we'll be here all day if we're trying to fix anything in this movie.
Oh, no, there's nothing.
Because that's what you're saying. This is not a movie where it's like, well, if only they had done this.
There's not even a point of fixing it. There's nothing where I looked at this going, oh, what a missed opportunity. No. There was no opportunity.
No, when I called that a missed opportunity, I guess more just like, you guys should have done that because that just would have been anything.
Yeah,
That would have been a chance to have anything happen. I mean, absolutely anything.
Yes.
So, all right. So let's see. Mummy. Oh.
Mummy.
This is where the
Daddy.
we get this is where the mummy kills Al in the dream, and you get him in the old age makeup with the white beard going, Richard Robert. Once again, Richard Robert. I can't fucking remember this guy's name. Wyatt. Guy from Caroline in the City.
Well, they do this. The dream sequence is like a typical dream sequence. You think it's going along just normally, but the whole thing of like, hey, buddy, we're meeting outside here. What'd you discover? I discovered this thing, and there is a tale about Queen Tara, and she'll rise again, and whatever, blah blah blah. And this shit is legit. And then they're back at his office, and he starts faking some kind of attack, and then it's just weird. And then he does actually collapse on the floor and has weird, terrible makeup on.
Real bad.
I mean, you said it was aging makeup, and I thought it was more like the guy at the beginning who got burned, because I could not tell what I was looking at. The only white beard.
That's the only reason I say aging is the white beard. It's not the makeup itself. But I thought
it looks almost like he's in blackface with a white beard. I was like, I don't know what they're trying to tell me with this. I don't.
You bastards turned me black. Why?
And then he wakes up going, no, Robert does. And he's like, oh, no. And he's like, oh, it's just a dream. And he's torn his pillow apart and feathers go flying. I thought that was funny.
I laughed at that. Number one, feathers in a pillow is always funny in a movie. Way. Like, it's such a movie thing. Also, I just in general, there's the whole thing in, screenwriting about voiceover is hack and try to avoid it. I dream sequences are right there with, like, there are movies that can use them well, but for the most part, unless you have a real good reason, get the fucking dream sequences out of your film.
Yeah, pretty much.
I almost always hate them.
I'll give you I'll give you an allotment. If you can knock one out of the park, then you're allowed to do a dream sequence from time to time.
And like I said, there are definitely examples of movies where there are good dream sequences, but 9 times out of 10, it's always like, oh, what a waste of everyone's time. Also, TV shows that do dream episodes, go to hell.
Oh,
I fucking hate a dream episode of television.
I hate a clip show.
A clip show is bad, but the dream episode will be like a late-in review, and I'm going like, oh, so nothing happened this week is what you're telling me. Oh, great. At least the clip show's up front and just like, here's a clip show. Look at these clips. A dream episode will pull the rug out from under you.
You're allowed to skip this one.
Yeah.
You don't have to watch this. Go away.
There is both a Cheers and a Frasier that are late in the game dream reveals, and I'm like, get out of here, man. These are great shows, but are you kidding me? You just wasted a half hour of my time.
Yep.
Nothing happened. All right. Sorry. I'm off my soapbox there.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And that's why you disappeared.
Yeah.
You need to tilt that camera back down.
So let's see here. Oh God! Can we talk about Al being hypnotized by Amy Locane?
That's out at the cafe. That's when he's eating their noodles.
Yeah, and you're right. That's not the dream sequence. Actually, I was mistaken earlier, because this is the scene where he's just carrying around a priceless Egyptian artifact. He's like, the Egyptian artifacts are a dime a dozen in this movie. People just have them lying around their homes and stuff.
Yeah, and whenever you go out to a Chinese restaurant, out at a little cafe, he'll just drop one down the table.
Isn't there some line
and then
about
he'll
like
stare at Amy Locane?
I love. Oh, Eric Lutz is so funny here too. The way he has to be like, "Hey man, Al, like whatever his name is, like, hey," and then at a certain point he's like, "Shane going, hey man, what the hell?" And he's like, I just need some fresh air when they're already
and then
outside.
He runs away like a coward.
Only to then, I don't know what prompts the concern from this to his next scene when he dies and he's on a payphone.
What I don't understand
what
is,
new information did he gain?
No, he figured out, probably from being hypnotized, he knows now what's up. He knows that she is the bearer of Queen Tara's spirit. Right, why doesn't he... It's literally hours later, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to go to a phone booth in the rain.
Yeah.
and I'm going to call.
Oh man, no movie is complete without a phone booth in the rain. Am I
And
telling
then
you?
he's literally like going, "Hello, is my friend Rob there?
Yeah.
Could you please tell him that the curse is real and that his girlfriend is reincarnated?"
Oh no, what's this? A power line is falling right near me.
Bad animated lightning bolt.
Yeah.
Literally a cartoon lightning bolt.
But you know what? When he's all distraught in a raining phone booth, I just keep waiting for him to go, Diane, please, take me back.
And then he goes, I gave her my heart, and she gave me a pin.
One of my favorite movies in general, but particularly that whole scene with the pen and that phone.
That is a devastating scene. That is a beautiful scene.
Just take this pen. Oh God, man. I'm just in a world where Amy Locane and Ione Skye are conceivably in the same job, like conceivably have the same job. That makes no sense. Ione Skye is so fucking good. And
she
Amy
really
Locane
is, and I always want her to be in more stuff again because
anytime she pops up anywhere, I'm delighted, and she
absolutely,
will show
and
up
I'm
here.
always happy
When she's on Arrested Development stuff. I'm like, oh my God, yes, you need to be in more stuff. She's amazing and still stunning.
Yeah, no, you'll get no argument from me.
They've got her listed at 52. She still looks amazing.
She is a year younger than me.
Mm-hmm. She looks great,
and she was very nice on the phone.
That's right. You had a very nice, which is I'm always glad to hear. Of course, I think like anybody, when actors or whatever that I like are nice people.
Yeah, I mean, and just like totally willing to sit there and jaw for a bit and just chat. I was like, that's nuts.
Yeah, I love that. Just the lack of ego on that.
And the fact that none of my bosses were like, dude, you have to take other calls.
I'm talking to Diane Court, damn it.
I know. They're like, oh, we get it. No, that's fine. Yeah. Go right ahead.
Well, because, she's the best. All right. Jesus Christ. All right.
And I definitely would show her where the broken glass was on the sidewalk.
Man, that script is so fucking good.
I know. Even if that guy's career dropped off a cliff,
hey man,
he gave us some classic movies.
I stand by. He made 3 almost perfect movies as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah, and a couple other okay ones. I think Singles is okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. But so all right, so we're back at
Word was though he did ghostwrite this script. Legend of the Mummy.
You know what? I saw some key.
He did some punch up.
Yeah, when they started playing that Tom Petty song in the middle of this.
Yeah, that was him.
Because the waiting is the hardest part. The mummy's
Last dance with Mary Jane.
Last dance with the mummy.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So anyway, Al makes his call trying to warn his friend,
he gets
but
fried.
then a cartoon lightning bolt hits the phone booth. He fries.
Meanwhile, we're back at the house here, and we're back at the estate, as I called it in my notes.
Mm-hmm. It's an estate.
It's an estate, and blood starts. We finally get back to this. Also threw me because we suddenly just cut to the maid screaming that we were talking about. Like we haven't seen her for 25, 30 minutes in the movie. Yeah. And then all of a sudden we cut to her screaming, and she's this poor actress once again. She just has to stand there and scream and point at this vent that blood is flowing out of. But of course, I'm expecting that they won't be there when people come because we saw that earlier. But no, this time everybody can see the blood.
Not only am I surprised that she's back in the movie, I'm also surprised that there was no mention of her, nor did she show up when her mother got slashed in the face by the wind. That next scene when you see Mrs. Garrett's replacement and she's got Band-Aids all over her face, I kind of expected maybe her daughter to be standing there going, are you sure you're okay, Mom? No, I thought she was gone or dead, and now she's here screaming.
Got it. This poor woman that we're not only referring to by a character, but by the character she replaced.
On a different thing altogether.
She was famously the second housekeeper.
I'm sorry, Mary Jo Catlett, who in this movie is playing Mrs. Grant. She, what was her character name on
Pearl.
Oh, Pearl. Yeah, there you go.
Yes, she was Pearl, the housekeeper, because Mrs. Garrett got her own show.
Yeah.
Which is always interesting to me because I mean, like, I like Facts of Life, but like, what does it matter that was the housekeeper from different? Anyway.
True.
So, blood's pouring out of this vent, and the house starts shaking. So we get a lot of good Star Trek acting as everybody's like, "Whoa,
God, this is terrible."
Whoa! Yeah, it makes you appreciate how good the people on Star Trek are, right?
This is terrible. People like trying to pretend that and what I love is Amy Locane shouting at Corbeck, "Make it stop!" I'm sorry.
Anytime,
How?
yeah, I know that was funny.
A supernatural earthquake, and
anytime
yeah, all right.
she has to raise her voice in this movie, it's horrible. She can't get there. She can't
I'm
play.
not sure if that's really bad when you compare it with her dancing around in the rain in her night dress,
that's
singing
pretty bad.
in Egyptian.
It's not
singing in ancient Egyptian, and she's like, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
Yeah.
this isn't working on any.
She was cuckoo.
It's
for
not
Cocoa
even
Puffs.
sexy. She's out there in a damp night dress, and I'm just going, I'm sorry, you're just an idiot. And I apologize to the screen, to her. I'm sorry you're an idiot.
I think that might be part of why both of us aren't really like into this woman. Is she?
Well, yes,
she doesn't. It's and it's not that she's.
That is a factor for me.
But I'm saying
intelligence
it's not,
and talent.
Yeah, I think that's the thing where it's just like she's just dull. I'm not here to say that Amy Locane isn't a smart person. I don't know her, but she is not capable of playing intelligence or, more importantly, wit and charm. I think that's a big part of it.
If a friend of mine started dating Amy Locane, and she was not a famous actress, it was just, this is my girlfriend Amy.
Yeah.
And then I meet her.
Yeah.
My thought would be, oh, wow, she's very pretty. And then after one evening, like we're all hanging out at a restaurant, I go, ooh, poor him. Because there's just nothing there. What are they talking about on the ride home?
There is a thing. I think we've talked about it. I think I've talked about it over on that.
I just imagine her turning to the boyfriend and going, "Do you think trees think?" That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, well, because I think that, but I think there, and talent is part of this too. But I do think there is something about, there are people who are very attractive, but they're so conventionally attractive that they're not. She's just not. There's nothing interesting about her looks. I think that's the other thing we're talking about. And man, we are just ripping this poor woman apart. But it is true about, like, even when you think about, all right, somebody that's like a fucking stunning woman like Margot Robbie. Yeah. Aside from her acting talent, which she's also an amazing actress, there's just something compelling about her face.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing. Whereas, I don't know, and it's an indescribable, something about the shape of the eyes or the, placement of facial features, but there is just something where it's like, I lean in, whereas with Amy Locane, I'm like, okay, all right.
Yep.
And I think that's key. I think actually, just to make it the Melrose Place thing, I think Courtney Thorne-Smith is just more interesting.
Yes. Even though everyone always, she's the real mayonnaise white bread one. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a personality there.
There is. And also, having been rewatching that show, they really dress her in a lot of the baggiest 90s clothes.
Yeah.
Which indicates
she wore a lot of flannel oversized shirts.
Anytime they put her in a dress, I'm always like, Jesus Christ, this woman has curves on her.
Who knew?
Yeah. Who knew, though?
Yeah, I had a crush on her from summer school.
Oh, sure.
A classic.
Starring comedy legend Mark Harmon, one of the funniest guys. Always been my problem with that movie. I like that movie. All right. That guy's not funny.
Launching him, they're trying to launch him as a Bill Murray, and you're like, wow, that's
you watch it going, I'm
working.
sorry, you don't go Murray or Chevy or even an Aykroyd. I mean, like, you're telling me no one was available? Hanks?
No, it's got to be Harmon. Harmon or nothing.
Man, I've always found him super boring in anything. All right. You don't want to get me started.
I know we're coming in hot today.
Dude, don't even get me started on the Presidio.
So, John, what do you think of the Presidio? Oh, I started you. Oh, shit.
Well, I think Connery's great as always, and I think he's super boring in it.
It's true.
It was supposed to be Connery and Costner, and it would have been better. All right.
Yep.
All right. And he has no chemistry with Meg Ryan. Anyway, moving on.
That's absolutely true.
Who's also great.
Yep.
So, yeah. So they go upstairs now, and now, my God, an hour later, Lloyd Bachner
by the way, the earthquake stops, I think, when there's something where Louis Gossett Jr., Corbeck, gets the door to the locked room open.
And this is where Lloyd Bachner is standing.
And they see Lloyd Bachner is bleeding onto the floor. And they're like, oh, my God, what happened to him?
But he stands up in this scene, and it's like, what? And then he just collapses.
Yeah, I
Lloyd
know.
Bachner goes, so what do you want me to do, Stan? Okay, and then I just go back down. Great. All right.
Easy day shooting from Mr.
I'm
Bachner.
sorry. What is the donut selection over there?
And that's a wrap on Mr. Bachner.
There we go, yeah. Not anybody can just take. I just love the idea. Lloyd Bachner going like, "So I can just take these chips? Is this okay? All right, great."
You're not going to throw away that rib bone, are you? You know, you can make a good stew out of that.
Oh man, this movie could have used some Carl Weathers. Although sadly, he would just replace Louis Gossett Jr. because this is still a time when you could only have one black guy in a movie. It was just that was the rule.
A couple actually.
Well, that's right, because we did. But
Keen, the mysterious, what the hell is
Kelly
he doing?
Perrin, but he is out of this movie so fast. Also,
he really is.
You want to talk about somebody who's totally wasting this? Victoria Tennant.
Well, here's the thing.
What is she doing here?
She escapes. That's the thing I love about it. She is in there for 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We did skip over that. When they're looking for Corbeck and Robert
she's the one that tells them where Corbeck is, but I thought, what are you doing? I love Victoria Tennant. What are you doing
Me
here?
too. And here she is as a blind British lady. Again, everybody that is connected to the story in San Francisco is British. But she's like, she smells the business card. Is like, oh, those are the cigars that Trelawney used. Oh, I guess you're legit, and you know Trelawney. Anyway. So she basically says, oh, he's locked up. Go find him. And then she's out of the movie. And I'm like, good for you, Victoria. You got away.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
She's got a really good voice. I've always liked her voice.
Oh, she's
Plus,
great.
She's cute. And even though she broke Steve Martin's heart, I think they were a good couple for a long time.
I don't really know the story of that relationship, but
well, I mean, he kind of wrote LA's story for her.
Oh, definitely.
Because they were in a relationship pretty long term.
Oh, I remember that.
And then I think
she's
she
also
cheated on him and dumped him. And then he ended up with Anne Heche.
Oh God, yeah. Ooh, well, that's not a step up. He's married to a nice lady now who's like a New Yorker columnist or something.
I'm happy for Mr. Martin, I'm always happy that his career has, turned awesome again.
He is one of those guys who it was always there for it to turn awesome because he is one of the most talented dudes ever.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's always just like, if you can just get him the right thing, of course. That guy didn't lose his talent.
Nope.
They were together from 1986 to 1994, everybody. And she's in All of Me, which is one of the best Steve Martin movies.
Yes.
All right. And this, I like that I just clicked on her thing and it's purple where I'd click the link for this movie, unfortunately. Oh, that's sad. That's sad. Okay. This thing's almost over, right? Come on.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. Out of nowhere, Daw pulls a gun on Corbeck, which I thought was incredibly stupid. You get a Louis Gossett Jr. going like, that gun's not going to do you any good in this house, son.
That's right.
Sure. Whatever. How much that gun cost? All right. Sorry. That's
and at some point, okay. Also, I don't know about
can people
continuity.
Tell just how much this movie has bummed us out? Like this.
No, I know.
this movie isn't even worth us. Like, we have more fun talking about subspecies movies because we're like, then this? Oh my god.
Well, again, it also stems to how muddled the storytelling is here. Jimmy, at one point, steals the key off of Lloyd Bachner's wrist to the safe.
Yeah.
He opens the safe
because this is what's gonna do Jimmy in. He's gonna try to steal the jewel, right?
Yeah, he doesn't get the jewel out of there. He gets the key to the sarcophagus in the basement, I think. That's what he gets out of and then he goes down the basement to try to open it, to get the jewel or whatever. And then he gets attacked by the mummy, who does the garroting with its own bandages. And this scene did crack me up. Okay, so,
I mean,
Jimmy's being strangled. Then he's thrown onto the basement floor. And then the mummy takes him for a drag, like while he's being strangled by the bandages.
Yes.
And the camera is on the ground. So as the mummy drags Jimmy by, it's an okay shot because it's an interesting angle, but basically Jimmy's face is coming right at the camera. And as he does this, and we're led to believe he's dying, choking to death, he's kind of looking at the camera as he's being drugged by it. And he goes, "Get me out of here." And to me, that should have been the trailer for the whole movie.
Yeah.
That should have been this man's acting reel, because
get me out of here.
Yeah, he's not talking about the scene. He's not talking about the strangle trap from The Mummy. He's talking about this movie. He's acting from his heart as he says, "Get me out of here."
He did say that, and I went, "I'm right there with you, pal."
I know. I'm like, "Oh, take me with you, Jimmy."
Oh, the sweet release of death.
I thought he was, dead, and then what? Oh wait, isn't he dead at this point?
No, he's dead. Once again, it's hard to tell because he looks like the Scotland Yard guy. That guy's in it later.
That's right.
It seemed like it was this guy for a second. You're like, what?
Yeah.
What is going on, man?
And at some point, I'm just throwing scenes out.
Sure, man. Whatever. Go for it.
At some point, Corbeck and Robert go digging in the yard.
Yes, that's the next move. Is they go, oh my God, the temple is buried. What we did, because he talks about we took all these artifacts out of Egypt and then we broke them apart and buried them all over the place.
Yeah, because the plan was to try to use this ancient ceremony for, I don't know. So basically he's admitting that he and Trelawney at one point were trying to bring mummies back to life or turn living people into, I don't know. Anyway, so
yeah, so once again, you gotta love a movie where just the basic motivations are unclear.
Yeah.
I have no idea what anyone wants.
Robert first, while Corbeck is digging, is like, "What are we doing out here? We're not going to find anything." And then immediately it's like, "Well, there's a head." and then Robert's like, "Okay, all right, whatever." So you buried a mummy in the yard, and then they pull up more of the body. This I love. This scene is I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I also love this.
They chopped up this mummy, so they're finding pieces, including the lower half of the mummy, like waist down, and Robert's like going, "But this is pointless. This is just an empty mummy." He's like, "There's nothing in here." And to prove this, Robert, art historian and sometime Egyptologist, just shoves his hand into the crotchal area, pelvis and legs.
See,
of
man,
this mummy.
Not a dick inside in here. That's
and
what
he
I'm
is
telling
literally shoulder deep in this mummy's body, and then he starts going,
tell you, man.
"Oh shit, I can't get out."
You ain't lived till you've been shoulder deep in a mummy's crotch. That's all I'm telling you right there. Jesus Christ.
It's just so stupid. Eric Lutz, I was just
it's got him, right? He's like,
he's like, oh no,
he's fighting with it. Oh no.
And that makes no sense. We have no idea what that even means.
No, I don't either. And basically he's yelling, he's like, "Come on, you gotta save me," to Luke.
And he goes, now you need my help. It's one of those things.
Is that right? Is that right? Now a
mummy's I guess I knew something all along.
Oh, a mummy grabs you and all of a sudden you wonder what Corbeck can do about it, huh?
Yep.
And then what does Corbeck do about it? Oh, he just kind of smacks the mummy and it goes away. He's like, hey, get out of here. Knock it off. Let him go.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Hey, man, that new Iron Eagle script get on my desk? It's Gedrick.
You guys will let me know the second it gets here, right?
Yeah.
The second?
Yeah, this is Lou Gossett Jr. calling for Jason Gedrick again. Because lest we forget, Jason Gedrick was
No, he's the titular Iron Eagle.
Yeah. Who actually, an actor I always liked as well.
Well, I always found him inoffensive. Like, not an amazing actor, but he had good leading man looks. Yeah. And he delivered.
He did. Yes.
He was good in Murder One, which I really liked. What happened to that bald guy that was like the lead of Murder One?
Oh, yeah.
And he was hot for a second and then just kind of disappeared.
He was, and I still see him pop up here and there. He had a real specific vibe.
Yeah, he did.
Gedrick was also on Boomtown, which is one of my favorite canceled.
Welcome to the Boomtown.
Oh, I loved Boomtown, man. You remember that show? Oh, that was good stuff.
I did watch it for a while.
I loved Boomtown.
Daniel Benzali.
Yeah, I'm looking at him here.
When he was
right, he was
at the height, I was like, cast that dude as Wilson Fisk.
Totally. That's right. He had a recurring role on NYPD Blue, which was also Bochco, so that makes sense. Oh, he is a bad guy in Murder at 1600. Sure.
Oh, my God. Sure. Man, he was on General Hospital for an entire year.
I got a Murder at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I guess that changes all the rules. Oh, I just remember the trailer. Well, I actually
I saw it.
I've actually seen the movie a few times, but I distinctly remember that trailer. And we talked about Blade, so you better believe Kid Me was like, "Oh my God, Wesley's gonna solve a murder in the White House."
So when you were a kid, you sounded like an impression of the We Hate Movies guys when they were kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still just stealing bits from other podcasts.
It's all right.
That's less of a stealing of a bit and more of recognizing a kindred spirit.
Recognizing a kindred spirit.
Every time I listen to their podcast, I'm going like, oh man, yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
I know what these guys are about. I think I could slot into that show, no problem.
So I love when they give the one guy flack for being the comic nerd, and he takes it, but he's like going, "You guys don't know any of this," and they're like, "going, we don't want to," and he's like, "I'm going to talk about Adam Warlock and
it's clear by civilian standards they're all comic book nerds based on other things they've said, but he is the comic book nerd amongst that group. The deep. Yeah, they each have their own thing because there's also the Star Wars guy who is sort of like a friend of the show, Mike Gergoni. Although Gergoni's also a comics guy. Yeah, like I said, Mike Gergoni also a comics guy, so nerd. And I'll tell him that to his face when he's on the show later.
He wears it well.
He doesn't wear it well. He lives it out loud, sir. Even
he lives it out loud.
Am quieter compared to him. And I walk around in a Marvel Icarus jacket. So
I was about to say, if you look at the bumper stickers on your car,
even still, man, I
are telling the world.
I am keeping it quiet compared to him, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't carry my dice with me anywhere.
Oh God.
Always got to be ready. All right. So Jesus Christ. All right. So their big thing is we got to move all the artifacts down to the basement. And all
the stolen artifacts, we need to finish this thing.
They managed to somehow completely rebuild the tomb.
Well, when they open, like when they finally get down there and have the means to open he's like, he did it. It's literally
crazy
the most
bastard did it.
Yeah, it's like, I can't believe it. The crazy bastard did it. I'm like, is there a movie in existence that doesn't have someone going, I can't believe it, the crazy bastard did it?
Well, it's in every movie I watch, that's for sure.
Yeah. Because the crazy bastard did recreate the tomb of Queen Tara, and her mummy is now on the altar. They get the doctor guy to cut it open, and because he's a doctor, I guess, and they're like, look at her skin. It's like untouched by time.
We must have talked about this on the Hammer movie, but when we did the Hammer movie, Blood from the Mummy's Tomb, but Aubrey Morris, do you remember that the original director of that movie died while making it?
Yeah, that's right.
He collapsed and died in Aubrey Morris's arms.
Oh my God.
Yeah, on the set. He dropped dead on Aubrey Morris, basically.
Wow. And Aubrey Morris is like, you know what? I'll come back and do another mummy movie.
We'll see if this fucking guy could die. Jesus Christ. Nope. Instead, Jeffrey Obrow still making movies, folks. He's got a movie that's been completed. Called Pursued. Ooh.
Hey, that's better than me.
That's true. Molly Ringwald is the star of that.
Oh, I love her.
We love her. Love her. Always love her. She's that's I don't care how old she is. I'll forever be in love with Molly Ringwald.
Okay, it's done.
I watched those John Hughes movies a lot. And it's the same reason I'm also still in love with Anthony Michael Hall. Who I did meet, I think I told you, and he really tried to sell me a Dead Zone shirt.
He really did.
He goes, check out this shirt, man. Check it out.
That's high quality. It's a high quality shirt.
He did. Look at it. Look at how soft this is. Touch it. Touch it. I'm like, I watched some of the show, man. It's all right.
I'm good.
And then when I said I didn't want to buy it, he was like, that's cool, man.
He's hustling.
Yeah. I mean, got to make that money, man.
And you know he had pockets full of rib bones.
He's like a stew. Do you think Carl Weathers still making Stewart? He's got that Star Wars money now.
Oh no, he's doing better now.
Yeah, he's got that Star Wars cash.
There are action figures of him now, so he's doing good.
Think about all the shit he can sign at conventions now.
All
right, so they rebuild the tomb as we're talking about here. They put the other diamond thing in the little hole in the ceiling so the starlight can shine through it. Because, of course, once again, in all of this is like, what? The stars. That thing starts glowing, and Lou Gossett Jr. is going, it's begun.
Yep.
And you're like, what? Okay.
Yep.
And then
why
this mummy's alive? We get a scene.
Yeah. And then it's grabbing for the fakest gem in the world.
It won't. Jam.
And we see, oh my God, it has 7 fingers. Oh, also, okay. At some point, is it around here? I don't know.
Probably. Who cares? Yeah.
Daw, whose allegiances have been kind of mysterious, it turns out that he is in on the side of Queen Tara, and I guess
which makes no sense.
Makes no sense. But when he takes off his shirt or whatever, we see that, and he's like, breaking from a spell, like she's had me for the whole time.
Yes.
And he's got these claw marks all over his chest and back.
Right.
This will become important later, and they're all seven claw marks, because we're about to see that the Queen Tara has 7 fingers.
Yes.
And then when she's being revived and the stuff is kind of bubbling in her hand, the extra fingers drop off, so she has normal fingers.
Yeah.
I don't even know what's going on.
And then briefly she has Radu fingers, and it's a whole thing, man.
No, those are fingies.
She's got some fingies, man.
She's got some fingies. And the whole time this ceremony is taking place, Amy Locane is like, yes, she has been speaking to me my whole life. This is where
we get Wind Machine at full blast, lots of strobe lights. And
I don't even know what happens next.
Well,
I don't know what happens next. I know how the movie ends.
Wyatt tries, he goes, no, we have to stop this. And Lou Gossett Jr. is like, you're too late. And he stabs him in the back.
That's right.
And then it's just like, oh. And then the mummy body just disappears. It vanishes, and just Amy Locane is standing there.
Yeah, I wonder what happened.
And then it cuts to the next morning, and everybody's just okay. Lloyd Bachner's like, oh, I feel much better now.
And it's like, well, you and Robert or Richard, whatever the fuck his name is, you guys have a wonderful vacation.
I loved you on Caroline in the City.
Yeah, and then Eric Lutz goes, thanks a lot, Mr. Trelawney. He goes, we're gonna have a great time on this little vacation. He goes,
I'm gonna go,
and we might have a little surprise for you when we get back.
I'm gonna put a baby in your daughter, man. I'm gonna just. I mean, isn't that kind of? He's going like,
well, I think
I'm gonna fuck your daughter's brains out right now.
Yeah. It's an implied marriage, but it is like, I am so gonna bone the fuck out of Margaret, just so you know.
I'm telling you, man.
Well, you two have fun fucking. See you later.
That's all I could think of during the scene when he's just like, "Oh, you guys are gonna have so much fun, just screwing and screwing."
And that's kind of all they do. Like, they drive away happy.
Then it cuts to, oh my God, I'm sorry. What did we accidentally put 5 blue filters on this scene?
Mm-hmm.
Different crew members just kept adding blue filters.
And the body double comes in, and there is Cinemax sex. And then it's revealed that she's got the sheets up to her chin and is like, "Oh, that was great, honey."
It is the fastest from exposed chest of body double to all the way up to
the chin,
up to her ears, basically going like,
"Yep." Amy Locane apparently didn't do a nude scene, even though she was known as a hottie for a long time, and I think it was in that movie. It was like, she goes, the one with Dennis Hopper, where she's like, "Look, that's going to be a prestige pic."
That's what I mean. I was going to say,
take my clothes off for the prestige.
I can't believe I am not taking my clothes off for Legend of the Mummy.
No, I mean, I don't judge her at all for that. But anyway,
fair enough.
So it comes back to her, and she's like, "Oh, honey, that was so wonderful. This has been a great honeymoon." And he's like, "Oh, Mrs. Wade, you enjoying it?"
And then
because apparently they did get married.
Mrs. Wyatt, I like that once again.
Oh, Wyatt, not Wade.
And then Benicio del Toro comes in and goes, "I hope you have a nice honeymoon."
Yeah, he does that. Very strange crossover.
I thought, dude, I'm like, weren't you in like traffic right around this time, man? What are you doing?
Yeah, why are you doing a flashback to years before? But so then he gets up and he's like, "Oh, I feel kind of weird," and he's drinking the champagne.
Something's on my shoulder there.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And he takes down his shirt. Yeah. He's got the same 7 claw marks, and he's like, "Oh no!" She just stares at him like, "I'm evil."
But she's such a bad actress. It's not even an evil stare; it's just a blank face stare, and you're like,
"Yeah,
oh, I guess she's the mummy." Now. Okay,
this is the closest I can get to evil.
She's just like, it's almost just like, what? I guess. Yeah, I'm a mummy. So what?
Yeah, I guess I'm Queen Tara now.
And there's the movie, and it's left to Eric Lutz to be like, "Oh no!"
Mm-hmm.
And that's the end of this horrible, horrible movie.
It was 96 minutes, right?
96, indeed.
Fuck this movie and the theft of 96 minutes of my life.
Well, yeah.
There's nothing to...
No, there's
nothing to...
Sometimes we have movies where we go, oh, well, this was okay, or you can enjoy
or
that.
If you're a completist of this person or that person.
Absolutely
even a fan of... and you should be a fan of Louis Gossett Jr. That guy's great. But there is no reason, even if you're a fan of his, to watch this nonsense.
Yes, agreed. Okay, next week we get a whole new take on the same monster, because this week was Legend of the Mummy, and wouldn't you know it, next week is Tale of the Mummy.
You know what I would love? Is if, because again, this is a movie I don't know anything about.
Yeah.
I would love it if the movie starts and it's a new actor and it's like going, I must share this tale. A Tale of the Mummy, and then it's just this movie.
God damn it, they got us.
And it's just they start showing Curse.
Now this one also, this was Bram Stoker's Legend of the Mummy. This one also has a name above title. This is Russell Mulcahy's Tale of the Mummy. Russell Mulcahy, who has directed several movies I like, did eventually his career hit the skids, and I think right around this time. In fact, this won't even be the last Mummy movie we see him direct. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, I know, right? But yes, Tale of the Mummy. And oh, man, I'll say the cast is better, but similarly weird. We've got Jason Scott Lee, because it's 1998.
Okay. Yeah.
We've got Michael Lerner.
Oh, I love Michael Lerner.
Honor Blackman, that's right, Pussy Galore
wow,
in this movie.
Pussy Galore.
Shelley Duvall.
Nice.
A very early Jerry Butler, now Gerard. Oh, folks, Sir Christopher Lee is back, baby. We get Christopher Lee back in a Mummy movie next week.
No.
Yes, it's Christopher Lee. He's back. And, another favorite of mine, John Polito apparently is in it, too. So,
John Polito.
I mean, much better cast. I don't think it'll be good, but it does seem it's a Dimension film. I think it's more of a movie at the very least.
So this will be a step up. It may not be
also 88 minutes. Nice, even shorter. Love it.
Oh, I love it.
Love it. Check it out. Yeah, I'm excited to see this. I'm excited to see baby Gerard Butler before not too long from now we'll be talking about Gerard Butler as Dracula. So
as Dracula?
Dracula 2000, man.
Oh God, that's right.
We'll get him in a Mummy movie, a vampire.
I immediately
a Dracula.
jumped into fandom.
I know, but think about it. I don't know how many people can claim they've been in a Mummy, a Phantom, and a Dracula.
Besides, well, no, not even your Hammer dudes.
No,
not all those bases. Jeez.
No, because neither Lee nor Cushing made it into Phantom.
No. Wow. Gerard Butler
Pretty
of all
good.
people.
Now it evens out because they did a Frankenstein. I don't think Gerard Butler's been on a Frankenstein. But who knows?
You think Gerard Butler will be maybe in another horror movie and it'll just be called Coffin?
I've got to get out of this coffin. I keep telling you, though, that
I know the reviews,
so good.
And I keep hearing people just praise the hell out of Plane.
So good, man. It's one of the best action films that have been made in the last few years.
It's not getting any of my theater money because I don't have that kind of money. So if it streams, I'll watch Plane.
It is out of theaters now and is coming out on streaming.
And I will say, I will mainly watch it for Mike Coulter. No offense to Mr. Butler, but Mike Coulter for me is the draw because I love that man.
Well, I love them both, so it really worked out for me.
All right.
All right, but that'll be next week on the show. We'll see little baby Jerry Butler in just his second film appearance.
He is still weaning. Like, he is still on the teat at this point.
Yeah, this is still... he's still working his day job as an accountant, which is true.
Wow.
That's what he was doing before this. He was working in an office as an accountant.
And every time he would sing around the office, people go, "Stop it. You're not a singer."
And he said, "I'll show you. I'll be the Phantom."
One of these days, I'll show you.
All right. Apparently, it was Michael Caine there. I'll show you. I will show you. All right. That's going to do it for this week's episode of Campbell and Jones Meet the Monsters. I'm John Campbell.
I'm Brendan Jones.
And remember, there are such things as monsters.
I could use a drink.